Hi,
Hi.
welcome. Hi, we're live. Hi, Sesting.
Hi, Sandy.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm a little bit tired, but it's nice to be
It's
here.
it is. It's Wednesday, middle of the week, busy day.
Hmm.
Welcome everyone to the second episode of You came up with a name, Get Your Geek
Yes.
On. Yes.
Yes.
We are from also like Viking Booty, the book club that we are participating, and we're talking about geek stuff here and
Yes.
there. Yeah.
Yes.
George is here. Hi, George. Hi.
Hi, George.
Hi. So, what's up, Sesting?
Well, what's up? Yes, we're gonna talk about a little bit of our history of being geeks and
Yes.
why we became geeks or why do we have this interest and how it is for you because I really interested how it was for you in Greek to
In
be
Greece.
oh in Greece. Sorry.
Yes. Yes. No, it's okay. Yes. So, we're going to take a trip down the memory lane, if that the expression correct, and see how we became geeks and everything. So, yeah. So, yes, I'm from Greece. I grew up in Athens and I moved to Sweden 13 years ago. And oh my God, Nail Bender is here. Hi, Nail.
Hey.
So welcome. So yeah, how I became a geek. I don't know that I have like a certain point when I realized that I became a geek, but I was always interested into, I don't know, technology and gadgets and everything. And I remember, so a lot of what I'm going to discuss today, it's going to include also my brother and sister, my siblings.
Me too.
Okay, good. Hello, Iron Spirit. So I remember at some point I don't know, 8. My brother was 6, and my sister was, I don't know how old. We were youngsters. Maybe I was not 8. I was like 9. At
So
some
where in
point,
the who was first and who was last?
I'm the oldest,
Okay.
and then is my brother, and then is my sister. So at some point, somewhere in the middle of the 80s, we
Mm.
are in the summer house, and somehow we ended up with an Atari, an Atari machine.
Ah,
And I think that's how it started.
yes.
So it was summer. So imagine, picture it, summertime in Greece, warm, schools are out, 3 kids that were usually out playing, but no, we were in front of a screen, all 3 of us, punching buttons and playing.
Yes.
And the same story. Our dad was like, leave that thing, close it, go out and play. Yes, yes, in 2 minutes. So
So what were the games you were playing?
I was playing a lot. I like the Formula One, which it was like 3 pixels per light of the car, 3 pixels the car, and like 5 pixels the road, and that's it. um, and yes, we both live in Sweden, asks Iron Spirit,
Yes.
and of course the chicken or the frog or whatever animal it was. I think it was a chicken that crosses the street, and the car is driving.
Hmm.
And I don't remember where is my brother. He knows everything. He has a memory. He has a great memory. It was the other thing that it was like a Tarzan jumping in the jungle, like all the two-dimensional, arcade games.
Mm.
Those are the ones that come to my mind.
An Atari, that was a computer, right?
Yeah, it was a
Do I,
machine, like a console with
it was a console. Was what I am
the
thinking of.
Commodore was the computer. Maybe that's what you
Yes,
are.
but I thought
Mm.
Atari.
Um,
Okay.
Maybe we can find. We should be more prepared. We will get more prepared in time.
Yes.
Atari, I say machine. It was an Atari
Yes.
so like
I'm
guess.
trying to remember what we had. Uh, we
So
did
if
have
I'm
like the grandfather of a really old machine. Yeah,
that's yeah, that's what we had. Yeah.
wasn't okay.
Now I don't know exactly
So you,
which.
it was the thing with the jungle when you like
It was an
swing
alligator that yes.
you
With
swinged
the
over holes. I've seen
Correct.
other play it.
Yeah.
We had some
S-
other kind of console. The first thing we had, and it was it like the phone, with the swirls,
the
like we have the old phones.
with the
Yeah.
rolling thing, which I don't know the English word for it.
No, exactly. I don't know the Swedish word either. It was that kind of the thing you played on, and it was like a phone with a little, like a flat, kind of, I don't know what you call it, but you could move like a little circle. It was really weird machine. Um,
It was a machine.
yes,
No, those telephones. We're talking about those telephones
yeah,
with a rolling thing.
but it had the same kind of cable. And if you change the game, you also change like a little plastic thing you put on there. It was like numbers on it. It kind of looks like a phone, but it was a console. It's really weird.
I have no idea what kind of
No,
console
I
you're
don't know.
talking about. Was it
No,
like a Swedish
I don't
invention?
know. I don't know. We should have.
Yeah. Well, and after
Uh,
that, it was downhill from there. And of course, I have to give the credits to my brother because he got, I think he got as a present the Game Boy, which of course I could borrow it a lot. So then it was Game Boy. And,
hmm,
w- from there, it was a love of technology and gadgets and, geeky stuff. And yeah, I cannot say that I was super geek like during high school, like as a teenager, because late 80s, early 90s, we didn't have the internet back then in Greece.
hmm,
So it was a limited access to those things. Of course, we had the TV channels, and I had access to, I mean, I could see shows,
hmm.
cartoons. And when Pokemon came, though, which is a
That's
major thing on the geek, I guess, universe,
Didn't that
it came
come
late.
a bit later, like in the
Yes, I was a bit
90s?
older, so I wasn't really into that. But
No.
before that, for some reason in the Greek TV, they had some anime shows, which they thought they were, cartoons from Japan, kids shows. It was not. It was traumatizing. It was Candy Candy. I don't know if anyone from Greece is watching. It was kind of a love story. It was not brutal. It didn't have blood or anything, but it was very traumatic. But everyone was watching it. Every kid, like girls mostly. So that was also my first not like interaction with an anime.
Mm.
And yeah, yeah,
Do you like
that's yeah.
anime today?
Yes, I
Mm.
do. I still do. I don't watch it as much as I did. I mean, there are some. I mean, in Netflix, on Netflix, it's Castlevania, which is from a game, and I don't
Mm.
know if that counts as an anime, but it has kind
I
of the
think
aesthetics,
I think it
no.
does.
And
Do you
yes,
read manga too?
not anymore.
No.
But do you?
No. I really not that into anime. I like Sailor Moon. That's like about it.
You do. Did
Yes.
you? I was. What did you watch Sailor Moon? Were you watching? Was it on Swedish TV?
Yes. But
Yes.
I didn't see it until much later because we didn't have cable when I lived at home. So I watched Sailor Moon like really. I was like almost 20, I think. It was on
I think I
Channel
have
5.
Channel 5. That's one of the private
Mm,
channels. Yes. I think I was kind of, well, in Athens or in Greece, we were kind of lucky because something happened late 80s and we got a lot of satellite channels through satellite. You didn't have to have cable, but
mm.
we had access to channels like British channels, uh, some French channels, some abroad,
But you
channels from
have the
abroad.
disc then, I guess.
No, we didn't have that. It
No.
was some sort
Okay.
of with the frequency. You could find them with the frequency. You had to know the frequency and fix them on the TV. now it's vague memory. I don't know if
Mhm.
someone is watching from Greece and knows more stuff, or leave a comment afterwards. But if you find the right frequency, you could watch channels from
Mhm.
abroad. Not that I could speak French or German or English. Well, English, it was kind of what I could barely understand it. So that is where I watched Mask. I don't know if you know Mask. It was a cartoon,
Mhm.
American, I think, yes,
Yes.
from one of those British or abroad channels. And of course, I couldn't really keep up
Mm.
exactly with what they were
Sorry,
saying.
can I just show you what I
Yes,
meant about the console?
yes. Show us Swedish. Is it Swedish? I don't know.
Do you see it
Um,
now? It's this one. Oh, do you
yes,
see it?
I'm gonna allow it. Was it
Yeah,
which one?
this one.
This one?
Can you see my?
The
It's really
brown
weird. The
thing?
brown one with the like gold thing. And you see, this is the disc I was talking about.
Oh my
And
god!
it was like numbers on it. And if you changed the game, you put things on here to like help you with the game. It's really
If
weird.
Nail Bender Ben, are you still watching? Do you know what that is? What George says? It said George says that he had your
Maybe
first PC
can I go
invention.
there?
Oh, it doesn't say what
No.
it is though.
What? A very old game console. Yeah, we know that.
Yes, yes. George says here that you have to learn to use a computer because Google BBC Basic Computers to check it out. You still have it. You had a teacher that helped me learn it. He left a disk with homework. You got
There,
games. Mhm.
Intellivision game console, maybe.
Intel Television game console. Okay,
It's
I've never.
really weird. But that was the first thing we had, and on that we could play like Pong and the. I think you had that on the Atari too, like the tanks that go like.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, yes. And oh my god! And now remember, of course, we had the arcade games somewhere. Some kiosks in Greece they had like Double
Ah.
Dragon and those things, so we had access to those things.
Mm,
So yeah, so I guess through gaming started the whole geekiness. I guess,
mm.
and I guess the same for you, pretty much.
Yes. I also had I had I'm a third uh, in the row of children. We are four children,
They
so
okay.
it was my brother, and I don't know how if it was his idea that we got this console. I'm not sure about that, but uh, he teach
The
us
brain.
to play these games, and then we had some yeah, Commodore 64 we had after this one. And then we had another gaming computer, but I don't remember the name of it right now. I know Felicia Day played on, played on it too, but I don't
Okay.
remember what it was.
Well, those it was like Amiga, Amstrad. Those I'm just
It
saying
was
random names now here.
Amiga.
Amiga, yeah.
Yes, that was the one.
I think my boyfriend had. Did he had both Amiga and? But he's also like he had Commodore, I think, or Amiga.
Mm.
Sorry, boyfriend, I don't remember what exactly he had. But your question was also like being a geek in Greece, how it
Yes.
was. Well, okay. Uh, since I'm from Athens, I think I have the advantage of being in a big city.
Mm.
So before the internet, I wasn't really informed well about the whole geeky world or what is out there. When the internet came, of course,
Mm.
information flow. So um, I think, not I think, we had bookstores that you can find stuff like science fiction, of course, fantasy, and I think I was lucky because I was living in a big city. I cannot say the same in a smaller city of Greece if it was the same, if they had the same access. But we
Mm.
had some bookstores, and I also double checked that with my brother. He was also like very into comics. and he still is.
Mm.
So we are half siblings, so we were not
Mhm.
living in the same household. So he was living more central Athens in the center. So he was said he went out the street and he was checking all the kiosks and he was looking for comics. When I say kiosks, I have a picture to show you, like the typical Greek kiosks. It's like those
Okay.
things, you know.
Ah,
So they are everywhere in on the streets, like everywhere in Greece.
and that's
Even
comics.
well, they have everything and they have
They have.
newspapers.
Ah, okay.
It's like a small mini store,
Mm.
uh, but they had also comics, and he was searching all of them, like taking them on a row to find his Spider-Man comics and stuff like that. And in Greek and in English, you can find both. But what did he say? Let me find it. It says around 95, 96, 1995, 96. Um, and then those were in Greek. And then we had the bookstores in another center area where you can find English, in English, those comics. So we had options. Not so many, like maybe a few stores in the beginning, but then like early 2000 zeros, it kind of became a boom, it boomed. So a lot of fantasy stores opened, where I was going to get the I was buying a manga, not too many, but I have some manga which they are back home in Athens now, bookstores, so that they had also figures and stuff like that. So we had stuff. You could be a geek in Greece,
Mm.
past way easier after 2000 and ahead. Yeah.
Mm. But do you
How?
have
Mhm.
any uh, Greek authors that write fantasy or sci-fi? Or...
I'm not that good with books. I
Mm.
actually haven't read so many books until before we started our book club. And mostly what we read is in English, but we have
Mm.
authors. We have authors. I don't know if they're famous, or I don't know any names now, but we have, of course, literature. And um, actually, now I have to give credit to my friend Vasos. It took me on a bookstore, a very nice bookstore, and it was early zeros, and she suggested take this book. And I don't know if it's fantasy. It's about Nephilim, like fallen angels. I
Mm.
guess you could call it fantasy. So from a Greek
Nephilim,
author.
isn't that like the child of a human and an angel?
Yes,
Mm.
yes. Connected to a music band also that we like to
Hmm.
listen. So you could find a lot of alternative, not independent authors, not so mainstream. What mainstream? Maybe I'm not giving now the exact correct picture because I'm not as well informed with the Greek literature, but I know that we have. I
Mm.
just cannot give any examples.
Mm.
I don't know, George. But George, he's Greek. Well, you live in Cyprus, but you grew up in South Africa, so I don't know. Also, yeah. Anyone from Greece? No. Where are my friends? Where are my friends? But I have some. I have books back home. Which, if I, what do I have here now? We have translated books like World of Warcraft.
Mm.
Those things, they were translated in Greek as well. So yeah.
Mm.
How about you?
Mm.
How are things in Sweden?
Well, yeah, it's actually it's not like there are many people in Sweden that love fantasy and sci-fi. The only problem with Sweden is just uh, the publishing. That's the problem with they don't really they don't feel it's a market in Sweden to publish like fantasy and sci-fi. But there are some Swedish authors, but those I have seen is mostly for kids.
Ah,
That's
okay.
Well, I asked one, and is this for kids? And she's like, no, that's for everyone, but it is for kids. I
Like
mean,
maybe kid or young adult?
yeah.
Young adult. But I will do my homework for an episode later on. I will
Mm,
search some Greek authors and I will
mm.
get back to you. But because that was a good question and I feel unprepared. But yes.
Yes,
Um,
it's okay.
the
Um,
thing in Sweden, when I moved on, when I moved here, I have to
mm,
say that is that, yeah, I was very surprised or I don't know, impressed. But how about the amount of the Swedish word is dekare, which
mm,
is police crime,
mm,
movies, films, books, everything. Police crime is
mm.
big, it's huge in
Huge.
Sweden.
Yes,
Yeah.
and
So
that's if you want to publish a book, you should write a crime story
to be successful,
to
yes.
be successful. And we actually had one in our an author in our group here, Viking Budding.
Yes.
She actually wrote a fantasy book about that is in Swedish and um, is set in Sweden, and it's about an old like fairy tale uh, not fairy tale, but more like an old belief that people had
Folk
before.
stories like
Yeah,
of
exactly,
H-
exactly. So,
how did she get published? How easy was for her
well,
to
she really had problem to get because she wanted to do a romance, but she did want to do a fantasy romance, and she had really problem with that. But
Hi
she
Robert.
had some kind of I think she some something with storytell. I'm not really sure about it, but she got the contribute. So I'm not sure if you can get the book uh, in paperback. I'm not sure about that. I
Maybe
think
only digital?
yes, it's in or maybe just an audiobook. I'm not sure about that.
What is the do you remember the name of the book or her name?
uh,
Let's see if
yes, the name of the book is De själlösa, eller the soulless.
soulless.
Mm.
And you want me to spell this or not? Swedish spelling. Okay, I got it.
And her name, I should know this.
You should
She's
know this.
Helene something.
Is it det eller den?
Dia. Dia.
De är de, eller till plural.
Dia.
Swedish lesson 101.
Yeah.
De själlösa.
Helene Holmström. Men nu
Helen
har...
Holmström. Yes, and I
Yes.
found it in Storytel. I will
Yes.
share it.
So, and I think it's only uh,
Only an audiobook?
published there. It's all, I think so. But it's really good, actually. But then she moved on to do more romance that takes place on a um, law
Like
firm. So it's more
modern,
like modern,
contemporary.
yeah,
Mm,
contemporary. And
mm.
it was actually quite contemporary, even if it was about this supernatural beings. But it
Mhm.
was the theme felt a little bit. It's this rich guy, and he's hot, and I I'm not really into that actually, but it's a really nice book. Otherwise,
So she tried to do something like a romance. No, she did a
yeah,
romance fantasy, but
mm,
because it's hard to get published in that genre, she managed to get it only on audiobooks.
mm,
Pretty much okay. So
yes,
Robert has a story. Do you have a presence of era or setting for crime novels? Let's see if we understand it correctly.
yeah. I don't
If
understand
they
here.
take place in a certain like historical era, or if they take
They are
place.
modern. Those are
Yeah,
that I have read
explain.
is those that
You are
I have.
Swedish. Explain the Swedish decade.
They are very modern. Preference. Do you have any preference of era setting for crime novels? Well, I actually okay. Well, I'm I like the old one, like Sherlock Holmes, and
Yes, I know you
maybe
do.
the
Mm.
film noir kind of crime story novels. I guess I like,
Yeah,
but
in a
just
book
the
club, you are the one that you always like the fantasy older
mm,
times, and I'm like, give me sci-fi. Yes.
yeah, but I like both. But just if you talk about crime novels, uh, that's what I like. But it's not my really it's not my preference of books because I really more into fantasy. But I do like urban fantasy with a bit of crime. I mean, my favorite series is the Alex Croft series, and that's about a witch that like starts her own. She's like a private eye, but she's like a witch private eye, and she
Have we
sort
read that?
it was the first book of Vaginal Fantasy, but we didn't read it together.
Because what you say now in urban fantasy, we had at some point a book. It was, um, but I don't remember if she was a witch. It had some sort. Was it a supernatural? Of course, it was a woman, and there were two men. You know, kind of love,
Mm,
not objective romance,
mm,
and I don't remember the names at all. But I remember she was eating something with kebabs. They were eating kebab.
okay.
That
Not
is
sure about that.
that. That is what I have left from the book. But I don't remember. I think it was like modern, taking place in now in modern
Mm,
time, contemporary, and I think it had some fantasy, some powers, telepathy. It was, I think it was,
mm.
or listening telepath.
Okay, that's not the Alex
We
Croft
we we
series
we
anyway.
drop it.
But it was the first book the Vaginal Fantasy read together when they started, and it's called The Grave Witch. That's the first book.
It rings a bell.
Mm.
It rings a bell. Yeah.
But that's really good. But
Yes.
just this obsession with crime novels in Sweden, I'm not really sure why that's it. But it's also what we do in TV. And it's very Scandinavian also. It's a lot of crime shows from Denmark and Norway.
True, true. And when I moved here, I was like, oh my god. And I was, I have periods, maybe you too, when I'm watching something. Now I want to watch like crime, or
Mm,
now I want to watch vampires, or now I want to watch,
mm,
teen romance, whatever. Hypothetical.
mm.
But I think I'm over the teen romance. I'm too
Okay.
old now for those. But when I moved here, I was watching crime shows in general, like NCIS, and it was like
Mm,
true detectives also. Look, American shows, from HBO and Netflix. And then I was here, and I was like, oh my God, Sweden, you have a huge culture with, crime shows, and Wallander and Beck
mm,
and all those. Those are big series franchise names,
mm,
and Johan Falk and those things. And then came the Bridge, Brun, Denmark
mm,
and Sweden. And I was in heaven. I was like, oh my God, this is perfect. But then after a while, it's like it's everywhere. It's everything. Every
mm,
TV show, every film, like franchise films. It's good films. They are good films, but it's always the same thing. And then, of
mm.
course, the Millennium Trilogy. Let's
Yes.
not forget about that, which is
No.
like, I would say, is it fair to say the peak of Swedish?
I think so actually. It's really really good.
Hmm?
And the movies is really good also in Sweden because I have a hard time for some reason to watch Swedish movies. I don't know. I don't think they are as good as American shows or British shows. I don't know why, but it just but this that one is really really good.
And those I saw them also only in Swedish, and I
Mm.
haven't seen the English
Don't
ones. We're
don't
talking
see it.
about the girl with the dragon tattoo, which is the
Yes.
American. What is the Män som hattar kvinnor? Yes.
Yeah. Men that hates women. Yes.
Some hata.
The
Finland's
English,
one.
the American version was not as good as the Swedish, in my opinion.
That's what every many said, but of course, I don't know. Since we have seen the original one, which of course I
Mm.
recommend if you like crime, and this is the Swedish version. And I think you can Google. Is it the Millennium Trilogy?
I think it's Millennium because that's the name of their newspaper. Millennium.
Yes, you can find the three films. They are old, of course. You probably have seen them. If you haven't seen them, I don't know, you guys,
And
where you? Mm.
it's even better to read the books. Books is really, really good.
Uh, yes, I haven't read the books because I wasn't aware of them, and I don't think I
Oh,
would have read them because it's kind of have a feeling they are even tougher.
okay. I
Mm.
I actually listened to them in audiobooks, and I think they were really,
Before
really,
or
really good.
after the film?
I'm not sure. I think maybe it was after the first film, but before the other two. I think.
Okay.
I'm not sure, but it's kind of late. But I didn't see it when it came out for some reason. I don't remember. I just didn't like. No, that's not for me or something. I just didn't. But then it happens that I watched it and wow, oh, this was really really good.
It
So
is good, and I think it is very, very Swedish. Very like it's. If you want to see something very Swedish, very Scandinavian, and you haven't, go watch the
mm,
Swedish version of that. Yes.
yes,
You have some nice stores here in Sweden when it comes to nerdiness, geekiness. You have the
yes,
Swedish science fiction bookhandel.
yes, like science fiction bookstore, but it's not
Book.
all only science fiction. It's all kind of geeky stuff, and that's really good. And they also have a website, so you can order books from there and
Correct,
things
because the
like
physical stores they are only in Stockholm and in Gothenburg, maybe
that.
Malmö
Maybe
also.
Malmö. I'm not sure. I'm
So three
actually never
points.
been to Malmö, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Um,
Um, and they organize also, well, at least pre-pandemic, or they were the
mm,
ones that they were bringing everyone here and there, like Swedish festivals, Sweden science fiction festivals. They were bringing people like actors to speak like
mhm.
before, not Comic Con, before that. I don't remember the name.
I know they had some kind of science fiction mass before.
That, yes, Messa. Messa.
Exact,
Mm?
but I don't know if it was the science fiction bookstore that.
Maybe they were like sponsors or something.
Okay, I'm not sure
Um,
because
mm.
that was before my time to go to conventions or.
But is it true if I understand it, like, is it true my understanding that in Sweden, being a geek in Sweden was good? I mean, you had stuff or
Yes, it's not like we don't have this that we didn't could get this stuff. It's more the problem I see now that we don't have so many like Swedish made things that is nerdy. But there are
I get
more
it.
and more. There was actually a Swedish uh, store, what you say, a TV show some years ago. So I think it was like 2015, maybe.
Mm?
And that had a fantastical uh, thing to it, but it was also a little bit crimey at the same time. It
For
feel
life. Mm.
it did feel like a crime show with the narrative, but
Which one?
sorry, it was the one about the seeds,
The
like the woods
seeds.
like grows into people. um
That sounds scary.
yeah, it is. Well, it begins with a police officer. She has for some years ago she had a daughter and she just disappeared in this wood, and some years after that she goes back and try to understand how could she just disappear like that, and this uncovers stuff about this wood around that is something weird in the woods. It's exactly really good and scary, but I have only seen the first season.
That sounds interesting because if it's a crime thing, but it has a supernatural thing and it's
Mm,
Swedish, I would be interested in watching it because, as I said, I got like overwhelmed, like overdosed with Swedish crime because they are
mm.
everywhere, as you say. Seed people. Hi, David Foster. Hi.
See people, I'm just something about
So I stopped
sea.
watching anything Swedish, and that is
Mm.
actually around 2015 when I started to Google around, and I ended up on the Felicia's Days book club, and we
Ah,
met, and we met. It was
you're like
2015.
fantasy sci-fi.
Yeah, geek stuff, yes, and exactly, and because I was actually wanted to find people like, okay, I live in Sweden, I have to find
Mm.
people here because in Värnamo, I don't know if anyone is watching from Värnamo where I live. I love this city. It's great. I have my family, my work, my life is here. But there are no geeks. I mean, there are no geeks. I see no goths. I see the occasional teenager at some point with black and everything. But I'm like,
Mm.
there is no one. I have to find people to talk to, you know. And I found you guys,
Hmm.
vaginal pod people. I don't know. It wasn't the wasn't it? It was a nice show, Swedish show, something with humans and androids. That
Mhm.
was, and it was the actor that he was playing, which I think he's very hot. I don't know. Yes, I don't know his name. He's the one that played in Unskan,
Mm.
the
Yes.
evil. What's his name?
Mm. I know who you mean, but I'm so bad with
And
names.
I think it became also in America, like an English version. They did it in the US. I don't know. I could not
Mm.
survive without geeks. Exactly, yes. It would be
Mm.
so hard. I think that's why I do so much better being with online people than in real life. I mean, yes. It's a good thing that we have the internet.
Yes.
Logan's
We
Run.
can connect to with each other.
Exactly. Exactly. Because seriously, we don't live close to each other either. You live
I
further
li-
away. Few,
yes, I live in Norrköping.
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 Norrköping. And
Norrköping.
it's like 4 hours from where I live.
Mm.
So yeah.
Flash
Plus
forward.
no. Um,
That's American. But that was a show that I loved when I was little. But I don't have any access to it now. We had it on VHS.
I was um I was watching it plus Gordon, but I don't know, some sort of in the 90s version. I don't know which one it was. But yeah, I was also watching it.
But
He
was
was
it
very
that with
fast.
Max von Sydow and the Queen music?
Yes,
Yeah, that's the one. That's oh, I love that movie.
I think so. I think so.
With the angel people.
That's the
Die!
old, yes. Yeah.
With
I don't
Brian.
really remember anything from the plot, but I of course recognize I remember seeing it. Guessing it's not near London.
Not a very good female character in it. I'm sorry. That's well, I guess the worst part of it. She's really like, oh, I can't do anything. Oh.
Oh, the typical damsel in distress.
Yeah.
Oh my God, seriously, we have to have an episode about these things. Please, please, please,
Yes.
please. Because since we're talking a lot about books, of course, in this podcast, since we are in this book club.
Mm.
Even today, it's still a thing in the books. They're trying to get over it.
Mm.
Some books they succeed in making like women strong women, but there are still some things. Maybe not Barbarella. That sounds very old. That is even older. Barbarella. Um, so I would like to. We're not going to talk more about it now, but I would like at
No.
some point to talk about it and elaborate. Yeah.
Yes. I'm sorry, I'm trying to find that TV series. I know I saw it on SF Anytime anyway. If you wanna, uh, so you
SF.
have to buy it. I think you buy like a season.
Oh, like
That's what I did anyway. Maybe you can rent it too. I'm not sure, but I think it's better to just buy
can we
it.
also say how many Swedish like subscription services there are in Sweden today with channels and series? I mean, besides
Sorry,
Seymour, and then we have four play. They have also like a premium, and then you have.
but is
I mean,
that Swedish? Is Seymour Swedish?
well, it has a lot of Swedish series,
Ah, okay.
I think, and well, we have Seymour. I mean, besides Netflix and HBO and all those things, and Disney Plus and Prime, there are like also for sports. Okay, it's I'm not interested in sports, but you have to purchase it. Like when Henrik wants to watch sports, he has to
Mm,
go to which one is broadcasting sports, the
mm.
hockey, you know. Um, so I think we have too many. I think four also has, and via Play. Is it for free via Play, or do they have also some paid?
You can uh, you have the subscription, but then you can also rent or buy some movies from them.
That also.
Yes.
Let's not talk about that because I will get
Okay.
aggravated. Yeah, I mean, of course we can talk about it, but I find it
This
a bit.
the Seed series I was talking about. In Swedish, it's called jordskott, and I'm not sure how you
Earth,
translate.
Earth,
It's like a scott. That
shot,
means to see,
shot.
but it's a seed or something from the earth.
Okay,
Uh,
you Scott with my amazing Swedish pronunciation. You Scott. Ah, oh wait, I'm
when
gonna
I
share.
translate it, it says earthquake, but
Is it horror?
well, it's kind of scary, but not really. It's a little bit more like
It says here
no, it's not
murder,
horror. I don't
mystery,
think.
evil, Swedish forests.
Mm.
Do you recommend it?
Well, yes. And actually, I cried at the end.
Is it over? Is it done? Is it like a few seasons and it's over?
I'm not sure actually. I only saw the first one, but I think it's enough with the first one. I'm not sure if it gets better or worse with the second
It's
season.
very
I'm not
mystical.
sure.
So okay, so it's this mom and the
Mm.
daughter,
She disappears,
and then she gets
and she
it.
tries to find her daughter, and it's something about her father lived in that forest, and it's something about her family and stuff.
The answer lies beneath a new exclusive series. Okay, is it based on a book or just a TV show?
I think it's just a TV show,
Hmm?
but
Okay.
I've not really looked into it.
Hmm? Okay. So, so tell me more about your growing up.
Yes. Well, it was like it was my older brother that was playing games, and me, me and my other sisters, because we are three girls. He was the first kid, and then three girls,
Okay.
like sitting around him and watching play. Sometimes we could be really annoying, but my brother is like the most patient guy ever or person ever. So he's like very calm. So he never complained actually or
That's
kicked us
nice.
out. So he was really nice.
Oh, nice.
So and we could when we got our first PC, I think like I'm not sure if it was. I think actually it was 95, and there was Windows 95 on it. I'm not sure if can
Like
that be right.
5 megabytes of memory. I mean, I don't know. I'm just
Yeah,
saying that
but
30 megabytes of disk drive. Okay, whatever.
they
Yes.
had some kind of drive when everyone. I know my father, like through his work or something, could get a computer home. I'm not sure how it's worked, but it was like a drive that everyone should have a computer. So through his work, he could get a computer, and that was the first one we had. And it was mostly my brother. He's called Mats, and he was playing, and we were watching. And then we played a game called Giana Sisters. But that no, that was on Commodore 64. I'm sorry, that was on Commodore 64. But
You had the internet in Sweden very early in comparing to at least in
mhm,
my experience. I mean, I got internet in 98, and I remember I mean, we had internet that you would buy, but it was expensive.
mm.
Dial up also. So I am, because what you say 95, my boyfriend also, he says that they had internet very early in Sweden. Like you had internet
But I'm
earlier
not
than
sure if we really was on the internet much. I know we have, or after that we have the
mm,
modem. I don't know.
a modem, yes,
Modem, yes.
modem.
You
Sweden,
know,
it's okay,
with the
yes. Mm, yeah. Yes.
yes. But I think that was later. First, we just only had the
Okay.
computer and we had
Mm,
games on it,
mm.
and on that we played like worms. With the little worms, and that's
Yes.
still today. But you had the really old one.
I
Yeah.
mean, speaking of also my siblings, it was me, my brother, my sister, and one of their cousins from the other family, extended family. Four
Mm.
people in front of a computer, like you are four people, playing worms in turns. Like,
Yes. And that was really fun. And well, that's how we got started. And then I
dial up, yes. It was a dial up,
yes,
Kevin.
I love
Yeah.
yes.
We called it the modem here in Europe. Come on. Yes.
Yes. I was trying to remember, but that was the. I remember that we used the internet in school when I went to. I guess it's high school, but not exactly. We have not the same kind of
Högskolan.
system. Yes, no
Mm.
högstadiet. Well,
Like college.
no, it's before. It's somewhere between
How old are you?
like 13 to 15.
Junior high school. I
Yeah,
think
okay.
it's called in
Yeah,
US, I guess. I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know. Yes, and you you use the internet there because you can go up to the library there and use. And it was like Netscape you
Oh,
used.
yes.
So
Who
you
has used Netscape from the chat? Let us know. And I'm not talking about the free version. Has anyone purchased it from the chat, guys? I want to know. Yes, please go on.
yeah, but you can use it in the school
Yes.
to find stuff. That was like the first thing with the internet, and then oh god, and we in the when I was older, then we started to do on the in the chat rooms and all that stuff. But that was something else. That was not really geeky stuff. That was just weird. Netscape, yay!
Yes. Well, you are more advanced at school than I was because we didn't have internet when I went to school, at least not in
No.
my school. Or maybe the teacher could go online to get something to print it out for us, but we didn't have access. Not even
Mm,
later, even in like college, so to speak, or
mm,
yeah, university. Uh, we had computer classes where I was learning basic. programming language and deep. I no, I'm not. No, horrible, horrible memories. But no internet exactly. But
No.
later, bit later. But
Mm.
who has used BBS? I don't know what BBS. What is BBS systems?
Probably not.
Probably
Not
not because no. But those two, they seem to
I
understand each other, Kevin and
yeah,
George.
that's good. Well, we
Yeah.
we have always had Windows at home, and I still have Windows. My husband done some in Unix. Um, we had that. I don't remember it now. It's some kind of Unix system we used for a while.
Yeah, no, I have also always been a Windows user.
Mm,
I mean, it has been Windows 95. Right. I remember now back at like college, they had in one classroom when we were learning, I don't remember if it was basic or COBOL. I'm talking now here programming languages that no one is using. Not even at the time anyone was using them for programming. And I
mm,
think they had Windows 3.1, and it was not that old. Okay. It's just that it was, they bought them and they forgot them. It was, we're talking past 2000, was 2001, 2001, Windows 3.1, who no one was using them. It was the amazing millennia. What was it? The millennium. Windows ME,
mm.
the disgrace of Windows. It was
MX?
horrible.
No, I'm not sure.
ME. I think we had
Maybe
ME at
ME.
some.
Mm,
Maybe it was, I don't know.
no.
George, you probably remember better than I do, or even Kevin, because we had 95 and then it was 98 and then it was 2000 NT with the server, but then came also the ME and then came the XP and then
Yeah, the
came
XP.
this
That's I will remember.
XP, yeah. Millennium
Millennium
Edition, yeah, it
Edition.
was
Yes.
horrible. It was horrible. Horrible, horrible. And then Vista,
Visst. Ugh,
it was also horrible.
was really horrible.
Yeah. Emmy
But
was
XP
horrible.
was good.
XP was good, yes.
Mm.
I stayed with Windows 98. Many did that, Kevin. I think, yeah. And I remember now, since you said 98, I don't know, it was 2000, I don't know, around 3, 4, summertime. We were gathering in one home, the parents of, it was my then boyfriend, ages ago. Parents were away. All of our friends, the gang, we were gathering there in the living room with computers, with like desktop with towers and CRT screens, the big ones, not the
Mm.
flat, fancy
No.
ones that we have now, the huge. And we had, our LAN parties. So those
Mm.
were good times.
Mm.
Who needs DreamHack when you have a LAN party in the middle of Athens? Have you
I
been to
actually
DreamHack? Hmm?
no, and I actually never played in a LAN
Mhm.
either. Actually, I wanted to, but there wasn't
Well, it
anyone
is.
to play with. Well, I guess me and Mickey, but it's not really a LAN. We are playing World of Warcraft together, but you don't. It's not like we put our
Before
computer together.
World of Warcraft, you could
Mm,
play only with your friends online on a LAN. You had a LAN party. Um, but what you just said is like sometimes the problem of our gigs that we didn't have, if we are the only one in our circle,
mm.
we didn't have really people to play
And
with.
I didn't have any girlfriends that were geeks either. That's
That's also another subject that
mm,
actually maybe needs its own episode. Women, I don't want to put us into a lesser position because we do exist. We are women that we are gamers. I mean, we do exist that we are gamers. We like geeky stuff, nerd stuff, but I don't know. Nowadays, most of my friends, women, female friends, are
mm,
because I don't know. I grew up and I found them and we found each
Mm,
other. But on my teenage years,
mm,
I didn't really
not
have
so much.
any, not so much. No.
No, I actually don't have anyone that lives near me that I really can. Well, I guess I have a
Me too.
coworker actually, and we talk about Dune and stuff like
That's
that. But
nice.
doesn't she's not a gamer. She's more like she reads fantasy
Oh, that's something.
mostly and sci-fi, I think, but mostly fantasy. But she do read some sci-fi, and she loves Dune, so that's sci-fi, I guess.
Yeah, I mean it counts. It counts.
Yes.
I have the same problem as I said because like okay, Matrix was out
Mm,
and I wanted to see it. Of course, I wanted to see it with my boyfriend, but I was like, we couldn't find a date for both of us that we both, I mean, find babysitter, for our son to keep him. And I was
mm,
like, he said, okay, go with a friend. And I said, I don't have any friend that would like go and see Matrix and, understand it
mm,
and feel the same. Like, and I'm like, shit.
mm.
Sorry.
I guess some of the geek stuff has been more mainstream today than it maybe was in the 19th. Like all the Marvel movies, stuff like that.
That is, we're going to talk about Marvel with Robert. I don't know if he's still watching, but what you said now, it's very interesting. Yes, I agree.
Hmm. And I guess Star Wars is more mainstream now than it was before, and many people are
Everyone
more.
pretty much knows Star Wars. And if there's
Mm.
someone that doesn't know Star Wars, I'm like, what are you? What kind of
Who
human
are you?
are you? Like, who? Yeah. Yeah.
It's kind of fun that Bill Burr actually was in the Mandalorian series, and he actually said in some. It's not like he didn't like Star Wars, but he kind of just missed that part. He didn't see it when it came out because he was. I'm not sure, but he was old enough to see the movie when it came out in like 78, so he could have seen it, but he just missed it for some reason. And
How could
yeah, I know. I don't know. He said that when he came back to school, everyone was like talking about lasers or lightsabers and like all this stuff, and he was like, "What? What are you talking about?" He completely missed it and didn't really hop on the train. But now he's actually in a Star Wars series, so that's kind of fun.
did you see them? We are old enough to kind of be in that train, but maybe not, maybe directly.
No,
So
not in 78.
not in seven. I was born in 79, so
Mm,
you are a bit later. But
mm,
because I remember being a kid, like I don't know, 6, 7, I don't know, and I was
mm,
summertime, schools were out. I was visiting at my aunt's. I was often there. My mom was working, so she was kind of like babysitting me, keeping an eye on him. I was there old enough. She had like a video store right underneath her house, like apartment.
mm. Okay.
Uh, so I was going there and I was renting, mostly. I was renting a lot of He Man and Shira,
Okay.
actually. Yes. And of course, My Little Pony. And
It
of
does
course,
go together. He-Man and My Little Pony.
well, in the head of a 6-year-old or 7 year, yes.
Yeah.
You were also born 79, Kevin. I know because I'm older, like 30 seconds from you. Yeah. And also, at some point, I ended up renting something, and it was Star Wars, which I have no idea what it was. I just remember Princess Leia and Jabba the Hutt. You know, back then, of course, I have seen them many
Yeah.
times now.
I'm also born 82, George. So
So, um, yeah, my brother is 82, right, bro? Yeah,
bro.
bro. I think you are 82, right? And my sister 84. Yeah. When did you? Do you remember when you saw Star Wars for the first time? Were you a kid?
I don't remember when it was, but yes, I was a kid, and it was also, I think it was my brother that this we're gonna watch this, and we like, oh, this is really good. We just loved it. So, but I
We're
didn't maybe
mhm.
didn't understand it completely then, but I watched it many times after that, and it still holds.
That is what I was going to say because we have a 6-year-old and we were talking now with Henrika. We were like, should we introduce him? We started watching with him like the Phantom Menace, which is kind of, not so much, but should we introduce him to the old ones? And we discussed that there's no blood. There's a lot of violence. There's no blood
Mm,
though.
mm,
And in the eyes of the child, you cannot really grasp what is going on. I mean,
no.
the story. You just see a bunch of people shooting pew 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 to each other and
Yeah,
running and stormtroopers and everything. So I guess it's
and it's
exciting.
really cool. It's visually cool with uh, the spaceship, especially, and how they have like how they show the space. It's really good.
Yes, yes. So we are thinking of, I don't know, introducing it to him, see how he reacts to it.
Yes.
Mm. so, so yeah, growing up a geek in our
Hmm.
respective countries, it happened kind of naturally, I guess, for both of us.
Hmm.
And
And like I said, my brother actually read a lot of fantasy and sci-fi books, but they were on English, so I
yeah,
didn't read the books. Uh, because I had other stuff to do, and I was in a book club, not the book club like we are that we have discussion, but we had something like a book club that you like get a book a month from
hmm,
this company. So it's called Läslusen. It's
okay.
like the reading Laos something.
Laos, let's
And
see.
that was for children, but that's when
Okay,
I started to read like supernatural books, but for teenagers then, or young, maybe younger also.
yeah, I
Much
have
about ghosts and stuff, but I really liked go. I still like books with ghosts and things like that. A little bit scarier, not really horror, but maybe a bit at that.
like what we read recently, the
Hmm?
black house, black tower. What is it? Black light
Uh, it's
with the lighthouse.
black. No, dark house. Dark.
Dark house, dark
Yes,
house.
dark house. It's instead of a lighthouse, it's a dark house.
Yes, and it was kind of spooky.
Mm,
A few scenes, I was like, "Shit, what is happening now?" I get easily scared. So no ghosts for me, no. But it
no.
was nice, interesting.
But I
Good.
really liked they had a series there that I think I'm not sure. It's called Rysare on Swedish. I'm not
Risare.
sure.
It's not the Russian. No, Risare. No,
No.
Ris.
No.
Only because it's Risland is Russia in Swedish. Don't get me wrong. Risare.
Thriller. Okay. Thriller. Is that okay? I didn't think it was the same, but they had like a series with really
A
a bit
thriller genre.
a scary book series, but they didn't. It's not like it was a series that come together. It's different stories in them, but a little bit scary
Like an anthology.
stories. Uh, well, they didn't. It wasn't the same author or the same stories. It's
Okay.
just they had like a series with these books are a bit scary.
Different. Okay.
Yeah, but so they like put it out.
Mm.
So that's I love that. So that's what when I start reading more like fantasy or supernatural uh, and things like that. But then I got older and I didn't know what to read, so I didn't actually read anything. I tried to read uh, vet du King, Stephen King, but
Stephen
that was
King.
too
Oh,
hard. It was too hard for me. He's just so it's just writes and writes. And it's like nothing happens, and it's I understand that it's supposed to like build up some kind of psychology. Um,
psychological
yeah,
tension built
feeling,
up.
yeah, tension.
Mm.
So but I just like, what is happening? I'm just, I did read, I guess, two of it. I read Cujo and the Pet Cemetery, but I thought it's just too slow for me. And then I read Coons, and I read one that I really like. It's called Phantoms or something like that. That was good, but I didn't get into. I tried to read one more book by him, but I couldn't get in. Then I didn't read anything for like 10 years, and then I find Viking Booty, and I was like, yes, because the thing about this,
Mm.
I also read a bit of romance and a bit like fantasy and more of the scary, but with the romance, and I really liked that when I was a teenager. But then I didn't know where to find those kind of books that wasn't for kids. So, but
Let
no, I
me
found it.
bring some books now. I have
Mm,
I have a similar story.
mm.
So I'm just thinking. I don't have. Wait, so, and uh, I don't have the book. No, okay. So random books. I don't have many books from Greece with me, but I think I bought this one here and this one. No, no, those are in English.
Mm.
And actually, this is from the SF Book Handle. This is from the science fiction bookstore here in Sweden.
Mm. Mm.
It's Mass Effect, but it is in English. 79 Swedish crowns. Cheap, very. And also this one. Where are the ones I bought? I have some books from Greece. Ah, yeah.
Ah, I I should read that one. I haven't, but I should read it.
I have to say the same thing. I bought it. It's in Greek.
Ah.
I haven't read it. Like I'm ashamed to admit it. But yeah, I want to reread. If I remember correctly, he's a big Stephen King fan. He has read all of them, and he was telling me, "Oh, I'm reading Stephen King," but I never also gotten into those horror things. I have
Mm.
read the classic, like Tolkien. I read The Hobbit back then, and that's it. And then I saw the films. But this is kind of my kind of thing, and I want to reread them. I don't know if you have read any of those.
No.
This is the second, I think, Mona Lisa Overdrive. This is the uh, Neuromancer, and it's trilogy also
Mm.
because of the whole metaverse and everything. I want to reread it again.
Mm.
Orwell was a few years off, but I think we are in 1984 now. Oh yeah, I think we have
Oh
been
yeah,
in 1984 for a few
for a
years now.
while.
For a while,
Yes.
yeah, yeah. Um. So yeah, uh, I I got some books. No, those I got them here in Sweden. I wasn't reading so many books in my early youth, so I
Mm.
have kind of a gap. I had read
Mm.
some manga, but they go kind of fast also.
Mm.
Um, and then it's when in around 2015 I found the Vaginal Fantasy, which is a book club.
But how did you read any romance before?
Not really romance. Well, romance if you count. What is it? Oh, come on. What is the shiny, the glittery vampire?
Oh,
Twilight.
Twilight.
Um, if you count that as romance, I was like so disappointed
Mm.
because I think after that I started to search more about, I guess, romance books because it was a nice story. Okay, the Twilight was nice. It was very nicely written. Like if you take it technically as a book, it is nicely written. It's a nice story. It has a beginning, it has a middle, it has a lot of plot twist, it has a twist, and it has, I enjoyed it, all of them. So I guess you can say that that was kind of the beginning, vampires, and I always enjoyed vampires. So after that, I started to search a bit more
Hmm.
into that world.
But I always felt like you were very experienced in the romance genre because you are the one that always, oh, this is some really
No, yeah,
hot
I was not.
stuff.
No, that my enthusiasm is not a sign of of experience. It's a sign of, oh my god, what is this? I was looking for that my whole life, and now I got it. So yeah, um, but I was always into the sci-fi more. But now I
Mm.
found sci-fi and romance. Oh my god, a love story, and yeah,
And racy stuff.
and yes, yes. Um,
I guess
no, it
Twilight
has
had
an
an
end. It has
end.
an end. It has an end. I mean, no, I what I wanted, what I said about I was disappointed. It was like, okay, so I don't think I have to say spoilers. So
Oh,
they
nobody
get
cares.
married. Yeah, they get married at some point, right? So it's the first. It was very traditional. No relationships before that. No sex before that. So they got married, and I was looking for, uh, n- not for anything weird, but something, gentle description, something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Like a romance kind of book. But it was nothing. It was zero. It was zero. So it's like it was first night. It's like
But I guess that
we get
is a young adult
it
book.
was young adult, and
Mm.
I even to this point I had no idea that it was young adult. So I was like,
Mm.
fuck, shit. So yeah, that is why. But as in general, besides the romance details, the story,
but,
it was a good story, I guess.
but did
Yeah.
you know about this adult books with racy uh, chapters in it, or what you say, parts in it before, or where did you hear about it?
Well, should we go back to the 80s to the Arlequin books?
Okay, yeah, I have not read the Harlequin books
Me
actually.
neither, but my I have seen my mom. She used to have books like that, and the moms back then. It was in the
Mm.
80s. It was big, I guess. Not huge. She did. She wasn't like a huge Arlequin reader because she
Mm.
had books. She was reading a lot of books. My mom, like good
Mm.
literature, like Greek authors, classics, whatever. But I guess at some point she wanted to read something light, and so I was familiar with the Arlequins, which they were kind of a cheesy version of romance, I guess. I don't know. Yeah.
Well, my sister had some books, and I'm not really sure. They were kind of. This is the thing with to translate things from Swedish. But I just tell you, in Swedish they called mysrysare, and that's like it's
Semi thriller.
yeah, but more like it's a thriller with sex in it, more,
Okay,
more or
so you
less.
have little miss it. Like miss it is like cozy, if you would
Cozy,
translate
yeah,
cozy.
and it was actually a bit like supernatural too. So that was
Okay.
the first one and it was actually about a ghost again. I have a
You
thing
have a
for
thing for
ghosts.
ghosts, testing. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. And in this book, she actually has sex with a ghost. I know it's weird, but yeah, I still
Okay.
have that book.
Well, it's maybe it's better than the the one with the T-Rex.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, maybe we shouldn't. I don't want to get blocked from not safe or like TOS. What is it that they're saying? Safe for not safe
Okay.
for work or whatever.
But
Yeah.
maybe this shouldn't
Mm.
be safe for kids. I'm not sure.
No, 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 no,
No.
no, 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 no
I mean,
kids.
we are a
We are a romance book
romance
club.
book club.
Yes. Yeah.
We're gonna talk about
Amongst
this.
others. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Kevin is. Yeah. Yeah, we are a bunch of women, and we are reading science fiction, fantasy, urban, supernatural, witches, whatever, steampunk. We have read also
Mm,
steampunk, romance
mm,
books. So there is a plot, but they have also romance inside, which I find it very. It's part of life. Hello, you cannot read a book and I mean,
we like it.
it happens in life also. Yeah. Mm.
Mm.
Not in our lives, but other people's lives.
What do you mean?
I mean, I'm not running in the woods being a witch. That's what I mean, like science fiction stuff. That is what
Okay, I thought you mean about the romance.
no, the romance. Yeah, okay.
You have a child, I mean.
I have a child. Yes, it needed some romance to produce it. Okay, maybe
Uh,
we should stop talking now. Maybe we should.
maybe you could go to bed now. No, but I enjoy this. It's fun. I
It
hope
is.
you guys that watching are enjoying it too.
The first thing, are we going to focus also a lot with books, right, in our podcasts and other things as well? But
Yes.
we are going to talk a lot about books, I presume, and I'm going to have it as a homework. I don't know when, if it's the next or maybe later, to bring some Greek science fiction or geek fantasy authors.
Hmm?
I'm going to ask my brother. Yeah,
Yes.
and I will Google. So thank you for watching Two Geeks in Sweden, a Greek and a Swedish in Sweden. Like and follow and subscribe our channels and our Twitter handles, and stay tuned for upcoming podcasts we're going to stream again. Wait, is this a regular series? Yes, we hope so. It is a second
Yeah.
episode. Where is the title? Get Your Geek On. Get Your
Hmm?
Geek On, episode 2. So, okay, thank you everyone for joining us in this crazy, yet another crazy episode.
Is it okay to talk about our other series?
Yes, of course, everything. Say.
Yes. We also have a Minecraft series when I teach Santi to play Minecraft, and that's we will see. I hope to. We're going to do it soon. Maybe some Wednesdays too. We're not sure, but
Yes.
that's really fun.
Yes, and because we are both moms, families, jobs, and everything, we cannot
Yeah.
have a steady schedule. So we're just
No.
announcing it a few days before on social
Mm.
media. Thank you so much, then,
Mm.
you guys. Thank you, Kerstin,
Thank you.
and have a good night, everyone.
Yes.
And see you soon. Bye bye.
Bye.